Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer.
Hello everyone, this is Blackfist Red Blades with the review of Captain Marvel. And FYI, this is probably going to sound like a lot of other reviews on YouTube, but I'm just going to be honest. There's no point in trying to say something different from Train, like Locomotive, just to be posh. Not my style. Now, up front, I just think the story is decent. The entire movie of Captain Marvel centers around Carol Danvers, a version of Captain Marvel that is found on the Kree planet and is working with the military to try and control her photon powers. There, she is working with the military to fight off the Skrull enemy and to regain what memories she can, shown in little snippets of flashbacks. Now, of course, what's known is that this is to set up Captain Marvel as the most powerful Avenger, in which case, it does that. Not to the greatest of degree, but I'll get more into it. Some of the other characters that come by is also Maria Rambeau, with Monica Rambeau, who is her daughter, and kind of a surrogate niece to Carol Danvers. There's also Wendy Larson, who is the MCU's Marvel. There's also Nick Fury, of course, along with Jan Rog, who is the leader of the Kree squad that Carol Danvers was originally a part of. Then the enemy, quotation, enemy, Talos, who's part of the Skrull. Other than that, there's also Ronan. I will talk about him later. Now, just to do this quickly, the things I liked about the story is that it does show Carol Danvers being a badass. They talk a lot about her needing to control her powers or controlling her emotions to control her powers, but she doesn't seem to actually have that kind of problem. And she's witty at times. She's heartwarming when it comes to Monica Rambeau or just her friends in general. And I just have to say, sometimes it does go a little bit too much into condescending the way she's sarcastic to some people. She's kind of like the sister from Drake and Josh. She knows she's badass, but she's trying to flaunt it a little too much. Other than that, it's a decent flow. My favorite action scene is actually one on a spaceship where she gets herself free from the Kree, and even though her photon blasts, her hands are bound inside these kind of metal casings that they had her held up by, she was still handing everybody their ass on a Skrull ship where she was getting away. So it's pretty damn sure that talking about her being the most powerful, yeah, they showed it, but it felt kind of tensionless on that. The things that I didn't like, though, are plentiful, just to be honest. Now, just to go into spoiler territory, or the rest of this is going to spoilers, I don't care. The thing is, they have it where she's the centerpiece of everything. I'm starting out with the last bit right now, but the Avengers Initiative was Fury's motivation because she was nicknamed the Avenger when she was actually a fighter pilot still on Earth. But that's just kind of stupid to me because there's already been cosmic anomalies or crazy things because there was already the first Avenger, the Captain America movie where he had to deal with the Tesseract, strange powerful weapons that gave off things. And the part about it is that with her supposedly being the motivation for this, that kind of ignores everything that was already shown. Another part that's a little annoying is the fact that it seems like just to make Captain Marvel look like the best, they had to slap everyone down. Now, I'm not a pure comic book fan. I actually like comics, but mostly for the art. Though there are those with the history that know that Marvel was actually supposed to be a man. Now, they changed how Carol Danvers gets her powers, but the thing that's a little annoying is the fact that they changed Wendy Larson. Is supposed to be Walter Larson, which is the alias of Marvel, who was already a Kree. And the thing is, to empower one person, they depower another. It would have been cool if Wendy Larson also had these so-called photon powers. Hell, it could have showed an actual dynamic because the collective of the Kree actually has it where this Wendy Larson is the only memory she has of the person that she wants to know, or the one person they want to know. So it really makes me wonder why it just shows the person that they care most for, and they only have it where she's just a scientist. Now, she's a motivation in the story. She's a key piece of the plot, but It doesn't make any damn sense why they do that. Now, enough of that rant. Another thing is Monica Rambeau, the daughter of Maria Rambeau. She is actually the name of another Captain Marvel, another human who actually doesn't have that many ties to Carol Danvers in the comic book story. Why they have her here as just another girl that kind of looks up to Carol Danvers is a bit annoying because, yeah, they could age her up in the time gap between the 1995s where this movie takes place, but it just watch a gentleman named Young Ripper 59 on YouTube. He has a history talking about the difference between the different Marvels. It just goes into deeper character. But the one thing that does annoy me a lot is what they did to Fury. Now, the MCU has their own kind of Fury, but he is so out of character in this. He's a current SHIELD agent who's been through the military, and at the same time, they make him seem so ridiculous, or too much of like a Chris Tucker character from Rush Hour. I get it, it's like the buddy cop movie thing, though it doesn't make sense. Not only was he supposed to be a full bird colonel, but simultaneously, while he's trying to be on mission or try to gather information, he was willing to stop so he can, kiss up to a cat. I mean, they're trying to find information. He's supposed to be a spy. He's supposed to figure things out. Yet, he's willing to act so out of place or out of character. Not to mention, when there's the point, this is still a spoiler section. But while they go up to find the Skrulls' family or find the actual power source, the lab of Wendy Larson is where the family is. The Kree are actually those who are causing genocide. And while they're on the ship, Maria Rambeau, who flew them up there, was the one who grabbed an enemy weapon when she could, while Nick Fury is carrying around the damn cat. He still thinks it's a cat, but it's actually an alien. The thing that doesn't make any damn sense is while Maria Rambeau is around, she's a retired fighter pilot, while Nick Fury is an active agent. Why in a combat situation would they actually have it where the military trained person would carry around a house pet instead of just trying to fight? Why didn't he have the daggone weapon? It makes no sense to me. It's just annoying because I can understand building up a character, but you don't build up one character to tear another down, especially when every other person it has more experience. Other than that, I really had to say this, but there was also how he got hit, how he lost his eye. The same cat that he was showing so much affection to scratched his eye out, and it got lost. And it was stupid because what about Winter Soldier? Winter Soldier, that's where he was saying, last time I trusted somebody, I lost an eye. So it just seems like this entire mystique to what he's got is just shown, or is just blown off as a joke. What is that for? It's so stupid because if I remember correctly, when he was looking at his boss, who was actually a SHIELD agent, he had it where it looked like he got his eye blasted out, not scratched. Maybe I need to look at it again, but either way, it still seems kind of stupid because it goes from a joke of one person who's been through so much combat, been lessened down to the comedic buddy in a buddy cop movie, and I just don't like that. Something else is how powerful she is. It's not a boring movie, but at the same time, it's just decent. When towards the end, the Kree call in Ronin, and after she stops listening to them, after she's captured, she unlocks all of her powers. She decimates Ronin's weapons and one of his ships easily. Like, just easily. She's able to save the day in less than 5 minutes. As soon as she's all like, okay, I have my true powers because you guys have been holding me back. Okay, I could get that, but even Incredible Hulk, Captain America, and each of the Iron Man movies, they all had a force that was as strong as them, same base or not. even Thor Ragnarok had somebody that was actually stronger, but they had to be clever about it. They had to think about it. So that's why I kind of think is a little ridiculous, because it goes way too much into Superman syndrome. And with their character being such a smartass, sometimes it can go from endearing to just trying. So that's my perspective on it. I honestly say, as a regular movie, it's worth seeing. It's okay to go see, spend a Friday, see what you want with your family. But on any other case, it is, if you're MCU dedicated person who's been following them, been looking at every movie, even the ones that weren't always the greatest, it's still kind of a slap in the face, because it just says, hey, all this is thanks to her. All this is thanks to Jesus Marvel. And one of the things that really didn't make any sense to me was that Monica Rambeau, who's supposed to be her own version of Captain Marvel and had little to do with Carol Danvers, could have been replaced with another Miss Marvel. There's actually one right now where she is a Muslim descent, and she has superpowers where she works with some of the Avengers and is a growing teen who's trying to learn what to do with them. And right now the Skrulls are in the movie call themselves refugees because the Kree lied about how they killed their own planet and are trying to invade other places. No, they were just trying to survive. And wouldn't that make more sense? Having somebody from a different descent instead of having it where they're slapping Monica Rambeau in there, who's has her own entire different representation. I once again, I just say go to Young Ripper 59, who talks about the history of the different Marvels. It's just right there. Boom. You could have had not something that easily fit, went somewhere, and got more things done. And the last thing that doesn't make sense to me is the Tesseract. Maybe I need to look at the timeline, but these are way too damn close to each other. What year was Captain America discovered? Because he fell with the Tesseract, if I remember correctly, in the first Avengers. And then from the Tesseract being there, it would have had to have gone with Wendy Larson, who created a new light speed engine with the power of the Tesseract. Where did that come from? That's why there's too many questions. So that's my review. I need to see the continuity of the timeline, and honestly, this movie kind of feels like in the longer scheme, it's not worth anything. It set up the pager more than it does the character, in which case they could have just had her appear kind of like what they did with Black Panther. He had an entire purpose because his father was already a part of the political scene, so of course Black Panther would be there. The other dangers and the SOS call could have happened at any other time, but it just felt like, that doesn't make sense. I mean, like, it would have made sense more if it had a little bit of a closer time to the recent or the latest movie. That would have been cool, because then it's like, hey, since 8 years to that attack and the Avengers first fought, they found her. They found Carol Danvers. They went through this entire thing. And then, the more recent, I feel like it would have made sense with the pager, because there are a lot of people who are saying that with the attack on the city in New York or the other dangerous events in the world, Carol Danvers not showing up at those times throws it out of continuity way too much. So, this is Black Fist Red Blade saying, hey, if you love the movie, or if you want to see the movie, go see it. If you're a comic book fan or just an MCU fan, it's going to be a slap in the face, and see it if you still want to.